And welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, um, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get 3. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do 2 to the cast, 1 to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just wanted to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out, and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to have a lot of fun with tonight's episode. Last week, if you missed it, we had a pretty chill game session with not a whole lot going on. Nothing bad happened, which was kind of odd in and of itself. Let's turn that music down a little bit. Here we go. And then it ended with Daisy going to the dormitory area of the ship and screaming. And then that was where we ended. So we're going to find out what that was all about tonight. But before we do, I did mention sponsors, or I should say past me mentioned sponsors, which are there in chat. So big thanks to Fundamental RPG, which we are using the 2nd edition of for this game, and Grinding Coffee Company. Go to grindingcoffee.co and use the code RAVVYN. You get 13% off of your order, and it's really freaking good coffee. Also, hey Jay. Jay says, sneaking in on my neighbor's Wi-Fi to say you're all wonderful and I wish you well tonight. Oh, thank you. Jay normally plays Sparky, but their home internet in the new place that they just moved to is not set up yet. So won't be playing today, unfortunately. But I do have some other fantastic cast members here to introduce. So let's start with Vanessa. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Annie.
Yes, hello, I'm Vanessa. Typically, I am 1/3 of the Canadian crew, but with Jay out tonight, I'm 1/2 of the Canadian crew. I am primarily a traditional artist. I do mainly watercolor and pencil sketch, and a little bit of digital on the side. And I will pop my my art Twitter and my coffee page in the chat there. But I play Annie. She is. We have this running joke that I always say that she's space anonymous. So before she got her memory wiped, she was pretty much a hacker, I guess, and she dealt in information brokering. So that's been fun for her to kind of discover with her skills, regardless of the fact that she does not remember them. But she's tall and she's got 2 space buns. She's kind of like a cinnamon roll and a wasp all wrapped into one. Maybe like mineral flavored wasp. I, I yeah, I don't know. I think the wasp flavor would probably be a little worse.
Riley, your cat looks so fucking huge. Apparently you're muted, Raven.
Yeah, what I was saying is Jay spent 4 plot points to give something beneficial to the crew that the ship has installed or is capable of, and I think I already have a good idea of how I'm going to use that. That's fantastic. That will be very helpful. Um, and then, yeah, Alex, tell us a little bit about Guy or Seattle and yourself.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a digital artist who posts around on Twitter and stuff. I'm playing Seattle slash Guy, um, and he's an engineer, likes cheese, likes a good date, and it really, really doesn't necessarily want to go back to remembering who Guy was, which he's starting to realize and may feel a bit conflicted about. He's enjoying his life as Seattle, as weird as it is, and as much as he's nearly dying.
Yeah. Okay.
He's also the most likely to get a date out of the entire crew.
That is very true. All right. Next, let's head over to Riley. Tell us a little bit about Lagu and yourself.
So, Lagu is a mercenary, bred and raised to be a mercenary. Their only loyalty is to their contract, and that's the only thing that they follow. That's their law. They're like large, muscular, tough, and have a voice box installed that doesn't really match the way they look. But they keep it there as a reminder of a failed past mission. They recently, last session, switched from their contract with Tolan to keep the crew on course to a contract with Sparky to keep them alive, because Lagu figured that they didn't want to fail, and they were sure that the crew would make them fail their contract with Tolan. So
it's a safe bet, yeah.
They went and promised to protect the person who's most likely to have the most deadly people in the galaxy coming after them.
Yeah. Yeah, Sparky used to be Blister, and used to be an assassin for the cartel. That's who Lagu's protecting. Oh, that's great. Alright, and then last but not least, Lisa, tell us a little bit about Gabrielle or Android and yourself.
Where's Zer?
So Android is the captain of the ship, even though she wasn't aware of it, but apparently in the past she was still the captain. She has a chip now that makes her behave a little more human-like and gives her the ability to lie if she wants to. But she is also a Black Ops murder droid, and she doesn't really know what to do with that yet. We haven't seen her use any of those talents yet. But I myself am just here as a player and just having fun.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I play everybody else in the universe. I'm the game master, but most words are hard. The one I play the most is Daisy, who's also a member of the crew of the ship. And as we mentioned, last episode we ended with her screaming in the hallway of the dorm area. So, I'm trying to remember where everyone was when that happened. I think Annie and Android, you were both on the ship, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know Andrew's probably on the bridge, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And then where was Annie?
I think we ended with Annie in her room.
Okay, so you heard the scream real close.
Yeah.
Android, you probably would have been able to hear it. Would have been able to hear it as well, just a little bit further away. Seattle,
Seattle's
you
not
back?
on the ship. He's in the he was in one of the docks to work on the shuttle.
That's right. Okay. Okay, and then Lagu, where were you?
Lago's on the space station, kind of keeping an eye on Rip. And
That's right. Okay. And I don't recall where Sparky was, but for the sake of the session today, we're going to say that Sparky was not on the ship and is occupied elsewhere. So, let's start with Annie and Android. You hear a scream happen on the ship. What do you do?
Annie's up and out the door. She's going to check it out.
And
Okay.
it's to go towards as well.
All right, Android, give me a nimbleness check. See how fast you get there.
Did you say Android or Annie?
Android.
Okay.
And then Annie, let me get a sight check.
$16.
Okay. So 14. So Android, it's going to take you a little bit to get there. But Annie, you notice right off the bat that Daisy is standing in front of her room, so in front of the door to her room, and sort of like flex taped to the door is a beheaded rainbow-colored llamacorn with a sign that just says "Lost." And she seems to be freaking out about that, but also she's kind of looking back and forth between that and the end of the hallway.
Upon seeing the llamacorn, Annie kind of slumps against the door frame of her bedroom, and she puts a hand to her chest, and she's like trying to breathe properly, and she just goes, "Jesus Christ, Daisy, you scared the shit out of me."
She still seems to be pretty freaked out. She's having a hard time communicating, but she points at the end of the hallway and manages to get something out along the lines of like, it's a person not supposed to be a stranger danger, that way.
Annie hears a click down the hallway in the direction that she's pointing. What direction is that?
It's the opposite direction of where your room is. So I think if you're facing Daisy's room, your room is like to the left, and this is the hallway to the right.
Okay, so what would be down that direction of the ship?
More empty rooms and just connecting hallways to the rest of the parts of the ship.
Okay, Annie goes back into her room and grabs her crossbow before going to inspect.
Okay. Android, I think you'd probably be able to get there right about now. Give me a sight roll, because I think you'd probably be coming from the opposite direction, so you might be able to see what's happening before you get there.
Well,
No, you don't. Yeah, you managed to catch up with Annie. Daisy's still sort of like hyperventilating at the door to her room. She's gonna hang in there for a minute.
Daisy, what is the problem?
There's the head of a stuffed animal taped to my door with a sign that says "Lost" for one, and two, I saw somebody that I didn't recognize on the ship. They ran down the hallway, and I don't know who they are or why they're here, but or why they put a llama head on my door.
Understood. And I'm gonna run down the way of the hallway.
Okay. I would like for both of you, Annie and Android, to give me either a sight or hearing check. You can decide which one.
That's a nat 20 for hearing, which is a +4 modifier.
Nice. So that's
19 for sight. Can I add my androidness onto it?
Yes, because you're on the ship, I will say yes.
Okay, so it will be 21.
So we got a 34 and a 21 total. Okay, Annie, you hear footsteps running, sort of pounding on the floor panels, heading towards the infirmary. Android, you tap into the ship's fancy new internal sensors that you apparently had installed, thanks to 4 plot points.
Yeah.
And you find a heat signature moving towards the infirmary, and you're basically able to, quote-unquote, see them that way. And you can see that they've got a decent head start on you, but if you both run, you could possibly catch up to them.
Did have loot in it though.
Okay. Can
What
I inform Annie?
Absolutely.
Annie, they're headed towards the infirmary.
Yeah, I can hear those elephant feet they have going in that direction. What kind of circus maneuver are we looking at for Annie to try and run and load her crossbow at the same time?
The treasure hunters fly. I thought you said they couldn't die.
I'll just include that in the nimbleness roll, so both will be nimbleness to get there as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep moving back.
It's 27. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a 12 for me.
You try to run and load your crossbow at the same time, but eventually you realize you're having trouble doing both, and so you take a second to reload your crossbow. So you're gonna be bringing up the rear a bit.
Okay, so
Android, as you catch up to the person, you can see that they've already made it into the infirmary. You can see that by watching the internal sensors. And you come to the door right as they have a some sort of gun at the doctor's head,
I'll take all the damage.
and they're behind the doctor with like an arm wrapped around their neck, sort of a loose
When I die, be a trip, Tom Berry
neck
stabbed
hold
you.
type thing.
Don't die. Look, your tank's dead.
With their right hand is holding a gun to their head. The person that you see, what they look like, they're dressed primarily in black, sort of like black cargo pants with generic combat boots, a thick black button-up shirt, sort of like a paramilitary style, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And they have it's like a carbon fiber, almost like a ninja type looking mask.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to tell what they look like. But they do have short black hair.
Okay. I'm going to tell them to release my doctor.
In a very like.
Can I
you
roll
imagine...
Daunt?
Yes, you can. The response will still be the same, but their action might be a little bit different.
Okay.
The response sounds a lot like the scout trooper voice from like Star Wars, where it's got that very like inside a helmet with a microphone coming through a speaker type sound.
Okay, I rolled a 19. Can I add my androidness on it?
No.
Damn
This
it.
one. With the 19, they flinch a little bit, but they still stay pretty resolved on their course of action here. But you do offer a threat to them at this point. And he just responds, no. Move out of the way.
What do you want our doctor for?
I'm waiting for something else.
Kind of pauses for a second, trying to figure out how do I answer, because this android's kind of intimidating.
Damn straight.
So he pauses for a second. He says, your doctor's been reassigned.
I am the captain of the ship. Nobody can reassign the doctor but me.
I'm pretty sure the cartel would disagree with you.
At this point, Annie puts her hand on Android's arm, and she lowers her crossbow, and she puts a smile on her face. She's clearly trying to be, approachable. Please don't shoot our doctor. That would be grand, kind of body language.
Okay.
She's got a smile on her face, and she kind of reaches out her hand in a cautionary movement. And she's like, hey, do you maybe want to just talk about this and tell us maybe that we can make a deal with you that's better than what you're being offered?
Oh no.
Roll charm.
To be fair, the captain also has not drawn any weapons.
I'm
at this
so
point.
glad I can reroll presence checks. Give me 1 second.
That has come in so handy for you.
Don't get hit. Dodge the thing.
Yeah, the first roll was a nat 1, so yeah, even with my score, it's a 20.
20? Okay. It's not that he doesn't buy the act, it's that he just doesn't care. He's not really moved by it, so he doesn't really think that you're trying to con him or anything. But he does kind of tense up, and he's like,
no.
hey, stay right where you are. I'm not here to talk.
Boys, move fast. Run away.
Rip said to get the doctor, so I'm getting the doctor.
Annie mumbles the word son of a bitch under her breath. They might be a little loud, but that's what she says.
No.
Okay. And he's just slowly inching towards the door while
One shot.
holding the doctor. The doctor seems rather distraught. They're cooperating, and it seems to be like out of fear of being shot, but they're not really struggling because they are scared.
At this point, Captain would ask Annie, is this the point when I draw my weapons?
Annie's smile gets a little tight. Like she's clearly trying to still put off that charming facade, but she kind of takes a step towards the person holding the doctor. It's only one step. She doesn't go any further, and she makes no stopping after that. And she's just like, hey, listen, do you want to stop moving and maybe just talk to us for a second? I feel like that would be a little less stressful for everybody in this situation.
Try charm again. Also, is anybody mentioning anything that's happening to the rest of your crew?
We gotta kill you.
Just before, that was a nat 20, and
Release the
my
mom
modifier
murder
is
bot.
10, so that's a 40.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thanks so much, people, for the 100 bits. Evil says, release the mom murder bot. So with a 40 and a nat 20 on your charm, he seems to relax a little bit, which is great, because he was about to shoot at you. So he kind of calms down a little bit and pauses and says, look, Rip said I had to get the doctor. The doctor works for the cartel. Been reassigned. That's how it works. They signed to deal with the cartel, in memory or not, they still have to live up to it. So I need to take him, or them, to the station.
While I do understand that predicament you're in, maybe if you just stay here with us for a few minutes, let us figure this out. Because I mean, if you're not leaving the ship yet, then there's no reason for you to hurry back, right?
Yeah, see, Rip told me the last time he tried to talk to you all, you tried to shoot him with a crossbow. And you have a crossbow, so not exactly feeling super safe here. Not to mention, somebody taped the head of a stuffed animal to some girl's door. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
and
the
we-
cartel's pretty messed up, but usually we don't do that kind of thing. At least not to children.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that whole situation either. But you know what? I think some things kind of have priority, and that's probably not the priority right now. So, you know what? If I do get an update, I will.
1,972
But
here.
for now, the threat of shooting the doctor is a little more important. What if I put my crossbow down for a moment? Would you feel more comfortable then?
I mean, this place is not exactly filling me with confidence, but sure, that would help, I guess.
Well, listen here, bud. You're the person who came onto our ship. Stranger danger, buddy.
Yeah, he kind of just gives you a funny look, like stranger danger. But he sort of shrugs, and he's like, all right, that's fine, but he works for us.
Yeah, I get that. But, I mean, seeing as you know the situation, and Doc doesn't have all the memories of that situation, it's kind of hard for us to figure out this situation without talking about it first, you know? Like, for example, are there any other details that you can give us aside from cartel takey?
I'm a retriever, not an information broker.
Interesting choice of words there. Annie sighs and she's like, listen, is there any way to make it worth your while to maybe just temporarily not follow orders immediately?
I work for Rip. You've seen Rip. You tell me.
Annie kind of casts a side glance to Android as if like, hey, do you have any input?
In the meantime, the doctor is just like, they're not exactly like shaking in their boots, but they're looking rather distraught over the situation. It's like, maybe we should. Maybe I should just go, so I don't get shot. Being reassigned, quote unquote, seems better than dead.
You have more experience in this area. Does reassigned mean not dead?
I don't know. I don't remember anything either.
He's coming.
But I think if they wanted me dead, he would just kill me. Huh?
Was that the doctor who said reassigned is better than dead?
Yes, that was the doctor the whole time, right there.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that part was the other guy. So I guess that question then would be directed towards the other person, the one holding on to the doctor. So Annie's like, you have more experience in this area. Is reassigned better than dead?
And again, that sort of like speaking through a microphone and speaker voice comes back and says, if they wanted him dead, they would have sent an assassin, not a retriever.
Let them take him.
Annie kind of side glances at Android again and lowers her voice, and she's like, are you sure?
At this point, we don't have much of a choice, and like he said, if he wanted them dead, they would be dead.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Annie kind of looks like she's got wheels turning in her head, like she's trying to find an alternate solution that doesn't involve everybody getting shot. But she takes a step backwards back into place beside Android again.
Okay. I think right around that point, Daisy's composed herself enough that she has messaged Seattle and Lagu and tried to message Sparky that there's an intruder on board, and for some reason the intruder has taped the head of a stuffed animal to her door.
Yeah, Seattle's coming back thinking it's some sort of weird pervert who he's gonna have to stab.
Lagu is going to immediately find Sparky to make sure that they're okay.
You're not able to find Sparky on the ship, but you do get a cryptic message that says, following up on a lead from yesterday.
So
basically, they'll be radio silent for a little bit.
In that case, if they got that message, then they would just stay where they could keep an eye on Rip from a distance.
Okay. Rip's still kind of walking around the space station. Eventually, he stops at like a little cafe and orders a coffee, and seems to be working off of a tablet. Heading back to the ship, Android and Annie, I think the two of you were kind of in the doorway, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you continue to stand at the doorway, or are you going to let this guy past?
I think Annie would probably continue to stand there for a minute because, she's still trying to find some sort of way that they could maybe diffuse this situation differently. So she doesn't move immediately.
Okay. The guy gets up there kind of close to you with the doctor, and when you don't move immediately, he moves the gun from the doctor's head to pointing it at your head, and just says, "Move."
Annie's previously charming demeanor is just replaced by this absolute defiance. Like, she does not take kindly to this guy trying to intimidate her into moving. Especially because,
Master crafting tools.
in her mind, she's like, dude, I'm just trying to figure out how this ends well. What the fuck? So her, like, everything, all the muscles in her face tighten, and she grits her teeth, and she stands there for about 15 seconds before moving out of the way.
Okay. In that 15 seconds, first of all, you can definitely tell this guy was not hired for his people skills. And he just squints at you, and after about 10 seconds, you see his finger starting to like slowly squeeze on the trigger until you finally move, and then he puts the gun back to the doc's head and sort of drags them out into the hallway, moving away from you, keeping their eyes on the two of you while they back out of the hallway. Now, Seattle, if I could get a nimbleness check to see how quickly you're able to make it back to the ship. It takes you a little while to get there. So
Kind of had to get out from inside the guts of the shuttle.
Yeah. So you're not going to be there super quick, and he is slowly moving back, sort of past the infirmary, over by the mess hall. Is there anything that you want to do while he's slowly dragging the doc out of the ship? Anything that you want to prepare or try or anything like that at all?
Guy has his knife out.
Well, I meant
And it's
mostly for Annie and Android,
Oh,
because this is going to be in the time that it takes Seattle to get there. So Lisa, the retriever guy threatened Annie quite a bit, and then Annie finally moved, and then he's dragging the doctor sort of through the ship, keeping his eye on the two of you, and he's moving out of the infirmary past the mess hall, heading towards the exit. Seattle is on his way, but I don't think any communications happened there, so I don't know that you would know that. But is there anything that you and Annie wanted to do while he's just slowly backing away from the two of you?
I need Coke. I need Coke.
Annie just slowly brings her crossbow back up to like chest level so that she's holding it in both hands, but she's not necessarily like making an aggressive show of pointing it at them. It's just
Okay.
kind of in like a ready position, and the muscle in her cheek twitches. She's clearly very pissed off that she was forced to move out of the way at gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna draw my weapons.
Okay. As you do, he once again takes the gun from the dog's head and points it at you, and it's basically says something along the lines of, "Hey, don't even try it. We had a deal."
I don't think you fully understand what I am.
I don't need to know what you are. I just need to know that Rip wants the doc, because the cartel wants the doc, and that's what I've got to do.
Why does the cartel want the doctor? Tell me.
I don't know exactly. Hold on real quick.
Doop-a-doop-a-doo. 15.
Team. He's not super daunted by that, but he does give up a little bit more information. He's like, look, I don't know why they want him. I just know that they were doing some fancy work with memory stuff, and since you all blew up memory drugs that the cartel wanted, that's what Rip said, now they need the doc.
So you work for Rip.
Yes, I work for Rip. We both work for
Why
the
is
cartel.
Rip still following us?
Probably because you blew up the cargo he was supposed to deliver to the cartel, and now they want the doc back because they, the doc, did some sort of work to do with that stuff.
You realize the doctor has no memory either, correct?
That's filed under not my problem.
Well, I don't think they'll very much appreciate it when you bring back a doctor with no useful memory.
Rip already knows about that. I'm sure he's already told them. My job is just to bring him back.
Are they moving backwards as they're talking?
Yeah, that's like very slowly sort of waddling back, really.
Is Guy in the ship yet?
I think once you can see the airlock, like the exit, that's right around the time that Seattle comes running up. So Seattle, you come up to see the back of the stranger as they're holding a gun at Android with like a light chokehold on the doctor.
Great. Seattle comes up right behind them, grabs them by the back of the neck, and just like has the knife right to their kidney. Doesn't say a word because he can't say a goddamn word.
Okay. Let's do. We're gonna need to do some initiative order.
He's not trying to be
swiftness order here.
He's not trying to be like sneaky or anything. He just like walked right up into this guy's face.
Yeah. Okay, let's have everybody roll swiftness. I'm just gonna use.
What is swiftness?
Swiftness is.
You mean nimbleness?
Oh,
No, no,
swiftness roll. There, it's right underneath our defenses.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Oh.
it's D20 plus toughness, I think. That's what it was.
I rolled a 23.
19.
Nice.
Oh, hold on. Plus toughness, you said?
Yes.
Oh wait, plus toughness?
No. The swiftness roll already adds it in. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
D20 plus toughness.
Oh, that's a 7 from me, Chief.
Okay, so we've got Seattle.
Very necessary.
Android.
I kept pushing it back all day.
Uh,
I was busy making.
and then Retriever,
What's that called?
and then
Hey,
Annie.
hey Raven. Raven,
Yeah.
should have made the retriever's outfit all gold, because then he'd be a golden retriever.
Oh my god.
No. That was pretty good though.
Denied.
All right, so Seattle's gonna go first. Give me a. Let's see, you're basically doing like a grapple type move, so let's do a might check, and I will roll against you on that.
18.
Oh,
18.
Rowena. You know I can't.
He's not
see
trying to
black.
stab the guy yet, but he's making it very obvious that there's going to be a stabbing.
Yeah, he is very, very grappled. So you succeed in grabbing him, and
In that case, can I have like Guy have his arm around the guy's throat with the knife to his back now?
Sure, that works.
Okay.
Next is going to be Android.
At this point, she's just gonna say, as you can see, we're not alone in this endeavor. Please release the doctor.
Roll. I'll let you choose if you want to try to intimidate into releasing. It would be daunt. If you want to try to just say, logically, the best move here is to just let them go. Then it would be speech.
We're gonna like to bring that.
27. Daunt.
27 daunt. Yeah, that's pretty darn intimidating. Check something, see if they. Okay. They hesitate for a moment, but they do let the doc go with one arm. This all sort of happening at the same time. The grab and hold and everything is going to startle them, so they are still going to shoot at you. Out of reflex. So it's going to be let's see.
Dang it. Whee! Oh, I left my blanket.
So sorry for the background noise.
I'm sorry, it's a little confusing.
Yeah, that should be right. It's about 32 to hit.
Okay.
You can
Do I
choose
get to-
which. Yeah, you can choose which defense to use.
Hey, you
I'm gonna
really
go
walked
with dodge.
off.
Okay.
12. Oh god.
You do get a +5 because it is versus ranged, but yeah, it's still gonna hit.
Hey, I'm
So it's
Hey
gonna do.
Raven, are we taking on a level
Look
20
at that
character?
tank.
No, they are not level 20.
How much do I take?
10 damage.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm not strong enough.
So that'll be their turn. And then it's Annie's turn.
Uh-oh.
That is a good question. All right, so Guy has a hold of the retriever, who is startled and lets go the doctor and shoots Android. Annie calls for the doctor to run towards them, and she brings her crossbow up and has it trained right on the retriever. She doesn't shoot yet, though, because obviously she knows that Guy is holding on to them.
Okay, there we go. Mute
Yeah,
button's
well,
being
that
weird.
slow walk towards you. What I used to do is I used the back seat in it.
Sorry, a
Hardcore.
little hard to
when I
think.
was very small.
So Seattle, it's going to be your
Because
turn.
my dad.
The doc
my
does
dad's
run
never
towards
into
Annie.
games, so
I
I
I
would
do
watch
that
my
part.
my
dad do
action
stuff.
until after this guy goes.
So Final Fantasy X
Sure.
was like
Sorry, hold on one
that was
second.
the first fan.
His Guy only has so many hands, and both of them are currently occupied. and he can't say anything because his hands are currently occupied.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So Android, it's gonna be your turn next.
Recently watched.
And I just go,
Sorry, you just what?
didn't I just do my thing?
You might have. What did you do again?
I mean, I was just talking and then they shot me, so.
Oh yeah, it's come back to you after being shot at.
Oh, okay. Cool story. I am going to try to, since they shot at me, I'm going to try to attack them.
Okay. They are currently held by Seattle, so they can't dodge. They can still try to deflect or block.
Okay, so what do I roll?
Whatever attack that you'd like to do, it's going to be d20 plus the attribute for the attack, plus your training in that type of attack. On your character sheet, it's probably mostly filled in already. Real quick.
Why'd you do that?
So it'll be a d20 plus my arm blades?
Yeah, so that would be actually this should be melee.
Yeah, that's what I have for melee.
There you go. So yeah, you can just hit the attack or the dice button right next to the installed arm blades line under your attacks. And then I think
21.
that was nice. And then I think that was a D8 for weapon damage. And they are going to try to deflect, so they'll get a bonus to their defense. But that only puts them at a 20, so you're still going to hit. So your damage should be, I believe, 1d8 plus toughness.
1d8?
Plus toughness.
Really want around it.
Here. I rolled a nat 20. Or a nat 1. Sorry, I rolled a nat 1.
That's okay, it's just damage. So you do 6
I got
damage.
6, yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be the retriever's turn. Unless there's anything else you want to do. If you want to say anything or move or anything like that.
Just let him go.
Okay. So it's the retriever's turn. He's now been stabbed. And has a knife to his back and has let the doc go. I'm going to try one thing. Yeah, no. He's just going to drop his gun and hold his hands up.
Suddenly realizing this job might be a bit more complicated than he was told.
Yeah. So yeah. He surrenders. Seattle, it's your turn next because you wanted to hold action until after his turn.
Seattle jerks his chin towards the captain, basically waiting for her orders.
Okay. And
He's
then
not letting go, and he's not taking that knife away.
okay. Then Annie, you'll have your turn, and then assuming you don't continue combat, we'll be out of combat.
Yeah, no, Annie still has her crossbow up, but she doesn't shoot it or anything. But she does call for Android to, like, kick the gun back towards her, like away from their little grouping.
Okay. Yeah, so you can do that, and you'll be out of combat. So what do you all want to do now?
Guys waiting for the captain to tell him to stand down or not. Otherwise, he's going to stand there with his knife to this guy's back.
Do we have any kind of like handcuffs to put him in?
We could get the doctor to sedate him into a stupor.
This is true. I don't know for sure that you'd have handcuffs. I don't know, I have a weird feeling that Seattle might. But you definitely have rope and zip ties and things like that.
The worst part is I'm pretty sure he does, and I'm pretty sure they're not for sexy fun times.
Let's find some
guys-
zip ties.
There are plenty of those throughout the ship for repairs and things like that. Meeble says you don't have a keel to haul him on, so space him. Okay, so
Try
yeah, you're
not
able
to be killers.
You find some zip ties, you tie him up, I presume. What do you want to do with him? Because he hasn't said anything. He's gone completely silent.
Guy's making sure he takes off his helmet and like any of the armor.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any armor. You can take the mask off. And he looks like the most nondescript, generic person you would forget his face the moment he walked away kind of person.
Yeah, no, Guy's like stripping him down to basically his underwear while strapped up because Guy knows that shit can be hidden.
Okay. He's a little freaked out.
Guy also has not said a damn word during this.
Yeah, he's. I take it back. He's very freaked out, and starts saying words like, why, what? No, why? So, I mean, the cartel's just gonna kill me. What are you gonna do to me?
Guy will write down, like, worse.
Okay.
Annie comes over to the little group, and she's still got her crossbow held up in like a ready position. But she puts on the most disdainful look that she can muster and just looks the guy up and down, head to toes and back up, like she's extremely unimpressed by the situation.
There's a McElroy quote that comes to mind that I imagine is like the perfect energy of this guy. And it is, I am very uncomfortable with the energy that we've created in the studio today. That's pretty much,
right.
that's pretty much his
buddy,
mood.
you're being kidnapped into the crew.
Yeah.
Android just stares at them and then retracts her weapons while maintaining eye contact.
Okay. Yeah, he's just very uncomfortable and not very talkative. You didn't find anything in his clothing. Like, it's completely nondescript. There wasn't even like a brand tag.
That's fine. I'm keeping him separated from all of his gear because it's a lot harder to break out of someplace when you're only in your underwear.
That's fair. Unfortunately, about that time, Daisy catches up with the rest of the crew, walks into the room, takes one look, and puts her hand over her face and goes, "Oh, God, why? Why is Seattle doing that?"
Annie has to turn around away from their captive so that he doesn't see the kind of like little smile on her face from Daisy's reaction. She doesn't want to like show any amusement in front of him, but she just like turns around and tries not to snicker. And then she just goes back to like stoic face.
I'm just gonna turn to Daisy and say, this person was trying to take our doctor captive for the cartel.
Okay, I understand that. And she's still like doing the one hand to her face, like head to the side while trying to talk straight ahead. I understand that part. Why is he half naked?
Seattle feels it is important to separate him from his armor.
Just reaches up and signs, is like, it is harder to get out of a place while you're mostly naked.
I oddly can't argue with that point. Is this really necessary?
Seattle seems to think so yes.
He works for Rim.
Okay.
And that's what Seattle signs. It's like, like, duh.
I'm glad the doctor's safe. So far today, I've had a decapitated head of a stuffed llama taped to my door. Narrowly escaped running into this guy, and then walked in on this.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry about the stuffed animal on your door. However, this seems to take more precedence.
Sure. I am not old enough to drink yet, so I'm going to go lay down.
That is a wise decision. Drinking for coping mechanism is unhealthy.
Got weird stitches.
And she kind of looks at Seattle and goes, "Yep, it is." And then goes back to her room. Alex, your face.
That's the face that Seattle's making. Like, I don't drink too much. I'm barely drunk at all since I've been awake. What?
And yeah, she goes back to her room. You might be able to hear like some muffled yelling and screaming and throwing, the sound of a stuffed animal head being thrown around.
Yeah, just
As apparently she's coping.
Seattle's going to ask the doctor to knock this guy out while he prepares a brig.
Okay. The doctor
Brig will
is
be one of the extra rooms with all the vents
That brings
soldered shut.
okay. The doctor is more than happy to knock this guy out, and does offer some advice. They do say, well, you know, we could make a brig, but there's also the isolation chamber, the quarantine part of the infirmary that we could stick them in.
I recommend we simply place them in there.
Sounds good to me.
Very well. So the doc pulls out their bag and very quickly knocks this guy out, who's looking incredibly uncomfortable with the situation.
This poor guy is just gonna be coming along for the ride now.
You know, I wouldn't. You can't say really that it's an honest job, but still, he's having a bad day just trying to do his job.
This is not the job he signed up for.
Yeah. Okay, so now you have a captive cartel retriever, half naked and passed out in the quarantine room of the infirmary. Unless, by some chance, you gave him clothes.
Nope. Spit in your undies about what you did.
Why? this is the like Tuesday game licking the wall scenario right here. The me just asking like why. But okay.
There's lots of good reasons to lick a wall, to figure out what it's made out of.
Snozberries.
I think there are more accurate ways to figure out a wall is made of than with your tongue, but okay.
Not if your scanner isn't giving you anything in return. There are ways to taste basically different types of rock, as well as figuring out something's made out of a porous material and not by basically using your tongue. I know geology nerds.
Yes, it's true. Anyways, you have successfully captured this person. Lagu. From your vantage point, Rip seems to be suddenly very upset. And he doesn't make a scene, but you can tell he just broke his tablet by holding it too hard.
Lago's just going to observe for a little bit longer.
Okay. After a minute, see him let go of the tablet. And from your vantage point, because you are intently watching him, you notice his hands bleeding. So he tosses the tablet into a trash can, puts some napkins on his hand, and walks away. Walks towards a different hangar.
Have you ever seen the
Is Rip paying any attention to the area that he just left?
Not really. He seems rather preoccupied.
Okay. Lagu's going to retrieve the tablet from the trash.
Okay.
Stick it in their pockets.
You are able to do so.
And they'll continue to kind of tail at a distance.
Okay. Give me a... Let's see. As odd as this sounds, I'll let you do one of either of these two skills. So you can do blend in to try to stay hidden while you follow, or you can use naturalist, which is a little bit weird to use on a space station, but we're going to use it as essentially the stand-in for tracking, to track his movements.
Okay. I'm gonna use naturalist. Oh, it's an 8.
Total?
Yep. I rolled a 4.
You are so intent on like tracking his footsteps and listening for where he's at and things that you don't quite pay attention to your immediate surroundings, and you unfortunately walk right into a waitress with a full tray of like lattes and stuff, and there's just coffee all over both of you, and you lose track of him.
My apologies.
She's just still doing like the like the shock to what just happened. Why am I wet and burning?
Lagu, seemingly unfazed by the hot coffee, just like reaches to a nearby table, grabs some napkins, and just hands it to the waitress.
She just takes it and looks at you like the expression on her face is, I better never see you again. She doesn't say anything, she just starts wiping herself off rather futilely with these napkins.
Lagu realizes that they've lost Rip and decides to go back to the ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get back to the ship. Yep, still drenched in coffee. And where the airlock where you enter, you probably notice there's some blood on the floor, and probably like some sort of what's the word I'm looking for?
Coolant fluid.
Yeah, coolant and the fluid that's in pneumatic devices.
Okay.
There's a word for it that I can't think of. Android bodily stuff.
Thanks.
Lubricants.
On the
Okay.
floor.
So, Lagu's going to proceed with caution.
Hydraulic fluid. That's the word I was looking for. Okay.
And then they're going to call out for Android.
Okay. Android, you hear Lagu.
Yes.
Can you locate Sparky for me?
Can I?
Just to like confirm that they're not on the ship is what Lagu's looking for.
Yeah, you know they're not on the ship, and you do sense their communicator. Like, you can tell that it's on the station, but you can't pinpoint a location.
Sparky is currently not on the ship, is present on the station.
Okay. Have you seen Rip?
I have seen Rip, yes, on the station. However, we are currently dealing with one of his lackeys on the ship.
Oh. For what purpose is the lackey here?
He was trying to kidnap our doctor. We stopped him.
And that's what Rip wants the doctor?
It would seem so. He mentioned Rip by name.
Can I speak to this lackey?
Dancing.
It's currently unconscious.
The lackey is currently unconscious.
Okay, well, this was a good chat. Lagu pulls out the tablet from their pockets. Will you please give this to Annie and Daisy to fix and figure out, please?
Of course.
Okay, I'm going back to the station. Thank you, bye.
Goodbye.
That's amazing. So Android, yeah, you currently have a broken tablet where the screen has been cracked from one side. So there's like the spider web cracks just going all through the screen, and a lot of the glass has crumbled where the frame is sort of bent, and you can see like finger indentations.
Right.
And where that is, there's a significant amount of blood.
Okay.
So that's what you're seeing. Annie and Seattle, what are you doing?
Seattle's gonna go back to the gonna go and get the shuttle back and move it back into the ship so they're ready to take off.
Okay. probably going to take a little bit of time to finish up the repairs, but you can definitely do that. Annie, what are you doing?
I think Annie probably spends a little bit of time in the infirmary, watching this guy that they have in that little wing. Now that the adrenaline of the situation has left, her hands are shaking a little bit. Like, she can't seem to keep the tremor out of them. And like every now and then she'll ball her hands up into fists to try and stop the tremors, but as soon as she uncurls her fingers, it starts again. So she looks a little bit frustrated with that, but she spends a little bit of time just intently watching this guy.
Okay. He's unconscious for quite a while, doesn't move at all. Is there anything in particular like you want to try to observe or figure out about this person, or just generic, like, in thought while staring at this guy?
Yeah, she's she's trying to recover from the fact that she was threatened with a gun again and had one pointed right at her face and could have died again. So
Yeah.
I think poor Annie is probably experiencing some like PTSD symptoms.
Yeah, probably.
So she's trying. I know I'm laughing, but she's trying to process that and kind of work through those because she's still doing a little rough.
Okay. The doctor is in the infirmary as well, checking on things, looking a little bit shaken up themselves. They do notice your hand shaking, and they stop to talk to you. The doctor just says, "I couldn't help but notice your hands, and well, your skin seems a bit flushed. Your eyes are a little bit dilated. Your breathing seems increased. So either you're experiencing some sort of anxiety or some sort of other emotion. The other one seems less likely. Are you okay?"
It takes a couple of seconds before Annie stops looking at their prisoner and turns to the doc. And she seems to kind of snap herself out of it a little bit and refocuses her eyes on the doctor. And she noticeably takes like a deep breath. And all she says is, "No, I'm fine."
I see. Well, if you need anything, if you later are feeling not fine, I obviously don't remember everything, but I do still have the knowledge of psychology. I could perhaps help you, or I have some medicine I could give you to help you relax if you need it.
Thanks for the doc. I will keep that in mind. But what about you? How are you feeling now?
I'm a little shaken. I don't think I'm used to being held at gunpoint. Apparently I work for the cartel. That was interesting news. Oddly, I don't feel that bad. I just feel kind of shaken up a little bit. I just need to calm down from the adrenaline rush, but I think I'm fine.
Annie just gives like a tiny nod. And she kind of busies her hands with like smoothing back her hair and making sure that her buns are okay, and, you know, making sure she's presentable. And then she just says, "All right, well, I guess I'll come back check on you both later."
All right. Take care.
And she just leaves.
Okay. We'll fast forward a little bit then. Well, I guess, Andrew, do you give the tablet to Annie and Daisy pretty immediately, or is it just sometime later in the day?
Pretty immediately.
Okay.
Limerick on your bar?
So when you do that, Daisy's obviously going to be like, there's
I keep forgetting.
there's blood on this. Why?
I'm unsure. It was handed to me with urgency to be decoded, for what I understand.
And Daisy's just gonna look at Annie like, help me.
Annie, did Android already hand it over? Annie reaches for it. She takes it and she looks at all the pieces of it. And she sniffs at the blood and she looks at Daisy and she's like, "Ah, nah, this is strawberry syrup. What are you talking about?"
I know what you're doing. Daisy just looks at Annie like,
What?
I know, I'm not
That's a weird
19, not 9. I know that's blood.
I think you need to get your eyes checked, kiddo, because that's not blood.
Would you believe strawberry jam?
Oh yeah. Nice.
She just shakes her head like, no. Rolls her eyes and just sort of walks away like, no,
Well,
no.
it's because we're caught in the cutscene.
Not dealing with this.
What? Go ahead.
That credit.
She just has a look of like, nope, I'm not dealing with this, and sort of just walks away.
Give this man credit.
Annie kind of smiles a little bit after her, but the smile kind of drops and she looks back to Android and holds up the tablet. And she's like, "We'll see what we can do with this."
Okay.
Understood.
Would you like to work on it immediately, or wait until later?
Yeah, Annie probably needs something to do, so she'll jump right into it.
Okay, cool. Then let's do 2 tech engineering roles.
All right, let me see. Now, since Annie is hooking everything up to her system, and she does have access to programs on her holocard, may I use that in addition to my role?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, 1 second then. So the first one's a 25
Okay.
and a 26.
25 and a 26. Yeah, you're able to download what was on it. And as you're going through the files and everything, you're able to tell this is basically like the equivalent of a burner phone. So there's not a whole lot of information on like where he got it from, what it connects to, or anything like that. But there is communication from him and presumably the retriever on there. And you can see how the conversation went of, you know, like I'm approaching the ship, I'm on the ship, and then there's a message of basically like WTF. There's a decapitated stuffed animal taped to somebody's door. And there's like an ellipses from Rip. And then the next line is, yeah, they're kind of insane, don't worry about it, just get the doctor.
We're insane. We're insane.
Yeah, Annie compartmentalizes that as something that she should look into later.
Okay.
But she just looks to see if there's anything else that's useful, any information that could help them know more about Rip, or, you know, anything really that's helpful in any manner.
Not really on that conversation. It's mostly just from that point on. It's what happened. So you were kind of there for that part. But you are able to find in a couple other files some of the like mission dossier type information that Rip gave to the retriever.
Name it rubber.
And so you're able to learn, sort of in a quick summary
Because it's close to rubble.
thing,
Get it?
that the doctor definitely worked for the cartel, that the doctor specialized in memory applications. So things like the drugs that you destroyed, retrieving lost memories, altering memories, and erasing memories. And give me a
Oh, okay.
education check, real quick.
Either way, I would go with rubble. Like red.
3?
3?
23?
Oh, 23. Okay. I was like, how did you get a 3? Okay, with the 23 on education, you're able to piece a couple of things together. That you have a suspicion this might be something to do with like creating like sleeper agents, like deep sleeper agents. Give me a gut feeling roll as well.
That's a 5.
5. Yeah, you're not really sure, but you do remember reading something about this somewhere at some point where, you know, sleeper agents, they've got to be able to like make that person believe they are what they're pretending to be. And just from what was described, it could possibly be something along those same lines. Or it could be something else, but that does cross your mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before Annie kind of stops with that, is there any way for her to do like a deeper push to see if there are any like temporary files, anything that's been deleted that might be of use to them? She wants to like basically disassemble this thing as much as possible to get every last drop of information that she can.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly things that you could do and you probably do, but there's not information there.
Okay.
That's pretty much all the information that's on there, because it was just like a throwaway tablet.
Okay. All right. She's.
Yeah, the only other thing that you could potentially do is all like mechanical or things like that. It's not having to do with data on the tablet.
Yeah, then that's good.
Okay.
Solvable squirrel.
Um,
I love it.
Then I think before we go on break, the camera's going to pan to the infirmary. Unless Alex, was there something that you wanted to do?
No, guys, just gonna work on getting the shuttle back to the ship as fast as possible. Because
Okay.
if Rip's around, he doesn't want to have to go through Annie all the time.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Reading for it.
So I think the camera will pan to the infirmary, where
Whoa.
the doctor has locked the doors after making sure everybody was out, and has awoken your retriever. And of course, only the audience is seeing this, as the doctor wakes him up and says, "Now, tell me about this memory specialty that apparently I was working in." And that's where we're going to take a break. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Definitely go stretch your legs, grab snacks, hydrate, and that sort of thing. And we'll be right back. Hey, and we're back. So, after giving it some thought, and because Lisa did have to run, I want to have the rest of the crew here for this last section that we're about to go into. So I think we're going to actually wrap it up here, but I do want to give everybody a chance to talk a little bit about what they are. What their character's going to do for the rest of the day. So, let's start with Guy.
Guy
do
is
for the
going
rest of the
to
day?
finish repairing the shuttle, move it back to the ship. Then he's immediately going to check in on Daisy. Because we may have just traumatized the child again.
Yeah. So Daisy's pretty much just hanging out in her room with the door shut.
Jerry, I've added to my combo.
Guy's gonna just gently knock on the
excited.
door.
You hear like a stereotypical exasperated teenager sigh from inside the room, and she just goes, "What?"
Knocks again. Because he can't see through the door.
It's fine. I can just say I'm.
Daisy's like, "What?" You can practically hear her eyes rolling from the other side of the door as she gets up and opens it and goes, "Oh, sorry."
And
I'm
Guy
actually really excited.
just hands her
There is a class
a
that
chocolate bar.
fits his character perfectly, but I can't get it until level 50.
She takes the chocolate bar and kind of stares at it for a second,
Jared,
and then breaks down crying,
Jared, what's the name of it?
and kind of goes and like
The healer. The
jumps on the bed with, you know, as you do with the face buried in the pillows.
Astrology.
Seattle's gonna go over and just sit down next to her and just like pat
So
on the back.
they do a lot with
So she's not alone.
Scotland's healing.
Okay.
But it's all random.
It doesn't seem to make her feel any better. If anything, she actually starts crying a little bit harder.
It's really cool.
But she doesn't like swat at you to go away or anything like that. She just kind of cries for a while. How
The
long
tower.
does Seattle want to sit there?
Let me see here. The tower.
Basically,
Whoops.
as long as she's gonna let him just hang around and shit, because he does look protect her. And if she wants to talk, she can talk. If not, at some point, he starts not even thinking about it too much.
The lovers. That just
Starts
starts
with-
with all. Suddenly the monster falls in love with you.
Okay.
It sounds something like a lullaby. It's not even like really sure where it's coming from. But it's low and it's sweet.
The devil. Oh, well. Come on.
Okay. I think after a while she'll just sort of calm down and eventually fall asleep.
What is wrong with these cards?
Guy tucks her in,
I actually do read tarot, so
makes sure that the
Just
chocolate
for
bar is on her
funsies.
bedside table,
just for fun.
gets her a glass of water there too, shuts the lights, and leaves the room.
Okay. As they say in video games, Daisy will remember this.
That's
Anything else that Guy would want to do for the rest of the day?
they're doing alright.
Yeah, he's gonna, like, update the ship's security so it doesn't just let random people on.
Okay. There's not a whole lot to do there with existing equipment, but you could potentially go buy updated security equipment.
I don't use magic.
The retriever most certainly broke in, not just waltzed in.
Yeah. No, he's gonna have to wait till Andrea gets back to ask permission
Just
for
like
those
me.
funds.
Okay. We'll cover that on the just between now and the next session then. Okay, and then Annie. What does Annie do for the rest of the day?
I don't think Annie really does anything of note. Probably spends some time in like the mess, snacking. She's probably a stress snacker, I would say. So she, yeah, she has a lot of snacks. She's clearly trying to decompress. Like, you know, it takes a while for the trembling in her hands to go away. She
I'm
finds
covered in
having
glitter all the
crying
time. Does
her
that
with
make me a
more
shiny?
often.
Sorry, that last part, it broke up. I didn't quite catch it.
Oh.
Like she tries to at least catch her breath a little bit more often. So like she'll have like these random bouts of not being okay, but then she's like, no, it's fine. Like, you know, cool. Stuffs more snacks in her face. And then I'd say she probably spends the rest of her time in her room.
Okay.
Jared.
That sounds good. And then Lagu, what do you do for the rest of the day?
Jared. I've got a new.
So Lagu would just try to see if he'd be able to find Rip again to keep tabs. Or they rather, and if they can't find Rip to keep tabs, they just kind of chill until like Rip would come into their line of vision, and if that never happened, they just chill on the space station, paying attention to anything that's going on around, and also looking for a doctor.
Okay. We'll probably do some of that in between now and next session, and then maybe include some of that in the next session then. Okay, cool. So yeah, the camera will then pan back to the doctor, who is trying to get information out of the retriever about what exactly it was that the doctor used to do. And before the retriever speaks up, of course, the camera's going to pan back to the airlock with Sparky walking back on the ship, looking at the floor and going, what happened? And I think that's where we're going to end the session. So, we'll address all of that next week. Which, if I remember right, just double check dates here. Yeah, next week will be the penultimate episode, so of the season. So lots of cool stuff will happen. Probably.
So do you want us to level up to level 10 by next week or not?
Yeah, no, you'll go up to level 10 after tonight.
Whoa.
Because
Scared the shit out of this poor guy.
yeah.
This poor guy just walked in thinking, oh, it's gonna be an easy job. They have none of their memories. Oh god, they have none of their memories.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. We're gonna go on a raid. I do have a raid cry for us. Not part of the job. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We'll go around and
No, I'm missing.
see what everybody's favorite part was. So starting with Riley, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, I can't use that.
My favorite part was just kind of seeing how, like, Seattle and Android and Annie handled having an intruder in there. Since I came in a little bit late to the game, it was nice to see how they handle conflict and like combat at the moment. I'm sure it's different than before because nobody got shot, but I really enjoyed that. And also the severed head on TC's before I just started laughing. How that was handled.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. All right, and we find next Wednesday, right? Wednesday, right?
On Wednesday for TikTok, and then in the meantime, you can find me online anywhere at Ariel Knits. I will put my website in the chat.
Awesome. And then next we've got Vanessa. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
So that
I don't think I can pick a favorite part. Like I very, very much enjoyed all of it. Yeah, the head on Daisy's door was definitely not what I was expecting. When we opened this one, especially after like we said, the peacefulness of last week's episode. So that was interesting. I didn't expect it to be something like that. But I also enjoyed Annie and Android as a duo. I know they didn't really do much, but that was a duo that we've not had really yet, so that was interesting too. But as for me, you can find me here for Tikfa next Wednesday as well, where I play Mira, who is a red cat fairy. She's the fairy equivalent of a vampire. So yeah. And you can also find me on my art Twitter, which is at PepperoDraws. That's Peppero like the candy. And coffee.com/PepperoPrincess. So if you'd like to see my artwork, or if you'd like to have anything drawn of maybe your own campaign characters, then definitely take a look and see if you like my stuff.
Commission her. Her art is amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
Fantastic. And then last but not least, Alex, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
I'm not sure what my favorite part was. Like, admittedly, it impressed the hell out of me how well that Seattle, the captain, and Annie worked as a team, taking down that Seattle's late to the game, doesn't have all the information, but he saw somebody holding a gun to the captain, a gun pointed at the captain, holding the doctor hostage, and and already like confirmed as being a perv who was freaking out Daisy, and Guy definitely took more over than Seattle at that point. It was kind of interesting to like watch my own character do like a switch has been flipped. This isn't Seattle mode. This is Guy mode, and you are threatening Guy's family.
Yeah.
Here's a knife.
The instinct and muscle memory of crisis situation type deal.
Yeah,
is interesting.
Yeah, it was just kind of interesting because I could actively feel like, okay, how would he react to this? What is his first instinct? His first instinct is to do this. Okay then.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a tough one.
But it's just been interesting to like watch as how they kind of fall into place with each other, and like figuring out how much the crew actually trusts each other a lot already. Like, we have each other's back, thick or thin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also fucking Lagu. Lagu is like such deadpan funny. Dear God, Lagu is fucking hilarious. They don't try to be, but they are so fucking funny.
Very funny.
Like, I know they kind of try to come off as like emotionless and like not very noticeable, but they have the dry wit of holy hell.
Very true.
Yeah. Well, where can we find you next?
You can find me next on Tuesday, where I'm in the water game that Raven also runs, where I am playing a 15-year-old Susie Nanya, who can be best described as a horse girl, but not with horses, with fish, and she has a knife.
Yes. Yeah.
Susie grew on me. Oh my God. I
She's
did
a
not
good
expect to
character.
love her. Yeah, and then I should, by that point, Jay should have internet back up and running, so we should be in. I should be over on their stream on Thursday for Don't Starve Together with Eknorlax and Dr. Ram, and then back here again on Saturday.
Fantastic.
Next Saturday, also my birthday. We stream on my birthday.
Yay!
Oh, that's right.
We
Yeah.
gotta do something. We gotta
Yay.
like wear. Oh man, we should wear party hats. I know Eknorlax did that for one of the birthdays for Raven's birthday stream, and it was so
Yeah.
awesome.
I've still got one too from that birthday, so yeah, I could totally do that.
I said to Raven for next week, I said either be really, really nice to Annie, or like let's really, really fuck her up, just for fun. I don't know which mood I'm going for yet, but I don't know.
Why
It
not
felt
both?
true.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little of both, to be honest.
I mean, with the high of rolling that 40 for charm and not getting shot, I think we're due for a little more excitement.
Also, I love how Rip has become like our main antagonist for like this first season, because that's like a great starter antagonist as we're getting ourselves back up to level 10.
Yeah. He's definitely
Especially since I don't think he was supposed to follow us quite this much, given what we did.
Oh no. He's following you around this much because of what you did.
Yeah. I still remember the look on your face when you realized that we are entering combat at level 5 with a level 20 character. And we're all doing it.
Yep, that was fun. My favorite part, though, is probably the look on all of your faces when I explained why Daisy screamed. And all of you being like,
fucking troll.
Oh my god, it's because of a stuffed animal. And then I was like, but there's also an intruder on board.
And we're like, yeah, we can deal with an intruder on board, but you didn't kill anybody, you just...
That makes me mad.
So that whole part was probably my favorite, but it was really fun to watch how you all reacted to everything. Yeah, that was going to be a lot more difficult than it was, but Jay got you all the internal sensors with those plot points, so you knew where he was going, and that helped a ton, because it was going to be really hard to find him otherwise.
Yep.
So
thank you, Jay. You saved our asses. Thank you for not just using those to bring in another Leviathan.
Yeah. So that was cool. As for where you can find me next, I'll be here producing Fleshmaker's Folly on Monday at 1 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and back as Bark and Empires and Epitaphs at 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Both of those are Monday. Those are the next shows. And yeah, aside from that, thanks again to Fundamental RPG, the system that we used for this game, and Grinding Coffee Company, grindingcoffee.co. If you use the code RAVVYN, you get 13% off your order, and it's really freaking good coffee. And yeah, with that, we're gonna go on a raid. We're gonna go say hi to Polished. There is our raid cry, and thanks again, everybody, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.
Ciao.
you.